Okay folks, what I'm trying to explain to you today is another tactical tip. This is one that's really important. Okay, I learned this years ago from guys like Rob Latham, Brian Enos, Jerry Barnhart. They had this grip that was a little bit different than everybody else. Once I started watching how Jerry shot and how Rob shot, I realized that the way that Jerry shot wouldn't really work for me in a tactical environment because he put his finger on the front of the trigger guard. So we went back to look at what Brian Enos and Rob Latham used. Now, when I talked to Rob Latham about this, he says this wasn't an invention, it was a necessity, because in the good old days, they used to put their thumb down and they'd put their grip over the top of their thumb. They didn't put their thumb on top of their 1911 safeties, they put it down and gripped here. Obviously not the best way to shoot. There's still some people that shoot that way still today. However, it's not any of the guys that are in the top 10 at the Nationals or the World match with USPSA. They're the best shooters in the world. So what are they doing? Well, what Rob Latham and Brian came up with was they would try to put as much of the meaty portion of their hand on the pistol as they could here. They would cant their hand forward. They didn't point their thumb to point it at the target. They pointed their thumb because that's just where it ended up when they got in that correct position. They clamped around the pistol. They try to put 70% of their grip here, 30% here, or 60-40, whatever you want to say. Definitely not 50-50. They seal that gap. They push that gun out of the target. Rob Latham puts a whole bunch of push against the side of his frame, and Brian Enos not a lot. Now, everybody's shooting this grip now. This is something I learned way back in the 90s from them, and it works very well. What it makes you do is, as I fire the weapon, the gun comes right back on target, okay? If I put my hand straight up and down, or in this position, I've got to push my gun back down every single time. So I want to have my thumb pointing at the target. I cannot control recoil much better, but what I can do is increase the speed of my follow through. So I take the shot, the gun recoils, it snaps right back onto the target, and I'm ready to start engaging again. It should look something like this. Okay, very fast technique. Okay folks, that's the grip. That's something you got to do. I'm Kyle Lamb with Viking Tactics. This is your tactical tip of the day. I'm shooting a SIG, and this one is kind of crazy. I've taken my buddy Z-Man. El Zita has polished down the takedown lever on this so that it doesn't rough up my thumb. It's got a salient top end, kind of a stock trigger in this particular model, but that's what I'm shooting today. Okay folks, we'll see you on the range.